Why are so many rappers dying young? We've seen this with Tupac and Biggie in the late 90s, but lately there has been a string of rappers dying before they can really experience the fruits of their labor. Is this just the rebellious nature of the rap world, or does the word rapper come with a lot of weight that's not easy to carry? Earlier this year, Master P discussed why he thinks that rappers are dying young. He said that it's the drugs and people not being held accountable. He also stated that another reason for these deaths happens to be the rappers not having the right leadership, claiming that parents want to be friends now instead of actual parents. If we look back at some of the lyrics that these rappers use, they often talked about dying young, and there is power in the words you use. Hip-hop can sometimes glamorize things like going to prison, gangs, drugs, and street life, but it often comes with a heavy price. Many rappers' lives were cut short due to gun violence and drugs. Having a dangerous and hard upbringing plays a part. A neighborhood that once loved you now hates you because they no longer view you as one of them. Now you're a target. Even for those who were involved in gangs, now making it big in the industry, you're making millions of dollars and buying things worth money that some people will never see in their lifetime. And sometimes rappers go back to their community and they think that they'll welcome them with open arms, and that's not always the case. Nipsey Hussle was a rapper loved for his raw lyrics that spoke against gun violence and drugs. He grew up in Crenshaw, and at the age of 14, he joined the Crips. When he gained success as a rapper, he went back to his community seeking to do good and inspire the youth. He opened his Marathon clothing store and employed young black men. Even then, he couldn't escape gun violence. They often say that people forget where they come from, but here was a man who didn't. At the end of the day, despite all the good things he was doing in the community, he still had a target on his back. Rappers like Lil Peep, Mac Miller, and Juice WRLD all died from an overdose. Lil Peep died at the age of 21 from Xanax pills laced with fentanyl. Miller died from cocaine and counterfeit oxycodone also containing fentanyl. And Juice WRLD died from ingesting a large amount of Percocet pills that he was supposedly trying to hide from the police. Oftentimes, drugs are used recreationally in the rap world. Songs like Mask Off by Future talk about Molly's and Percocets, which have now become popular drugs amongst teens and young adults. While rappers are not responsible for the actions of the kids that listen to their music, we can't ignore the fact that a lot of these kids are impressionable and tend to do some of the things stated in the songs. Sometimes the drugs are masking a bigger issue, that being depression and mental illness. Mac Miller had a long battle with depression and drug addiction. While some people look to healthy alternatives for their addictions, Mac Miller turned to negative alternatives that eventually took his life. In J. Cole's song Friends, he stated that drug addiction and depression don't mix. And it's a very true statement. It also shines a light on how serious mental illness is and how we need to start having those important conversations. In the 90s and early 2000s, we saw artists like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg rap about things like weed and alcohol. But it seems as rap has evolved, so has a drug of choice, with many rappers rapping about dangerous drugs or the mixing of dangerous substances like lean. On the other hand, artists like XXX Tentacion, Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, Trey Savage, and Young Dolph all died from gun violence, and that's not all. There are a lot of others. It seems that once these rappers reach a level of success, their lives become endangered and they can't escape the often dark environments they come from. Conversations about gun violence often divides Americans, but it is a conversation that needs to be had, even within the Black community. The fact that a majority of all these young rappers' lives were taken by gun violence by someone within their own communities poses a huge issue that needs to be addressed. If not, there will be more and more rappers being added to the list of those murdered. The question we need to be asking is if we are living in the most dangerous era in rap history.